Ladies and gentlemen, with Skyblock's anniversary event wrapping up, and a pretty interesting new change to one of the more niche pets in the game, Skyblock really is always changing. My name is Derailious, welcome back to Skyblock News, and let's launch right into it. Starting off here, there's about 24 hours left in the Skyblock anniversary event as of the posting of this video. Make sure you log on and speak to Simon here over by the bazaar, because you're going to want to get your hands on one of the new sloth hats. Also, make sure you pick up anything you might want from the pig shop, and perhaps potentially buy a potato talisman if you don't already have one. The price is likely to rise after the event ends. This event was pretty well thought out, and honestly had some pretty interesting improvements to the previous events, and also bringing back the 20% skill XP, or the skill XP buff in general, was a good idea from the admins. I really hope they continue this event year on year, but it obviously seems like they're going to. This has become pretty much a staple in Skyblock. Moving on here, we have something a little bit silly. If you have a rat pet that's the mythic rarity, you can actually use it and sort of fly around with it. This also works in public lobbies, as you can see right now, and in my opinion, it's a pretty interesting new change that they made to this. You don't need to get anything new if you've already applied the rat jetpack to a rat pet, but if you don't already have one, this will set you back at least 50 million coins, because that's how much it cost from Shen. You need access to Shen's Regalia room, and that is a lot of money to begin with, but to get one of these, you have to wait for it to come around and get the 50 mil together, or you could be like me and overpay 15H 115 mil in order to get your hands on one. Regardless, I do think this is a pretty well thought out improvement to the rat pet. While it is obviously a little bit silly, you would expect something like this to feel a little bit janky, like the aspect of flying around, but I do think it actually works like really well. I'm very surprised with how well they were able to set up the flying mechanic. It feels very stable, and honestly I can imagine for people this will be sort of a flex thing, to be able to just, fly around in public hubs. I'm pretty happy with it though. I hope they keep doing stuff like this for other pets, add some more silly functionality. I think stuff like that really is what makes Skyblock great, and I really do love this addition. Moving on to our last topic today, I want to talk about the progress on the city project here, and more notably, the lack of progress. There has not really been much done in terms of the city project for repairing the wizard portal, which I see as really sad. I'm not saying that players should be forced to spend a crazy amount on contributions. This entirely falls on the admins, and they simply did not set this up properly. There is no incentive for you to go beyond 10, and for many people, 10 contributions isn't even worth it because the memento provides no bonuses at all. I don't really understand the reasoning behind doing it like this, because previous projects did allow you to gain some sort of benefit, and I totally understand if they don't want to make a crazy overpowered benefit, that's fine, but you can do a lot of things, making the rift cheaper for those who are actually giving a lot in contributions, making the time between free entrances smaller, maybe lowering that from 4 hours to 2 hours or something like that. Those changes wouldn't be overpowered and would give people a reason to actually participate. Menacing Banana made a great video on this going further in depth, and I completely agree with everything said there, so make sure you check out that video if you have further interest on this topic. But regardless, I do think the solution is just lowering it and potentially just automatically finishing the project right now. We're at around 1 million total contributions. I just don't see us hitting that 2.2 million anytime soon, and I frankly think that the update is finished, which is why the admins lowered the total funding amount from 3 million to 2.2 million. Regardless, I just see this as a pretty large failure of the admins. I hope in the future we see city projects actually go back to being that, contribution for some small gameplay benefit. Notably for the builder's house, I think that was the best one. You got a pretty large discount if you donated a lot to it, and it really felt like your work was paying off. Not only did you get a new building in the hub, but you got a huge discount as well. For a major update like the Rift, I frankly don't think something like this even works, but that is my opinion, and it's up to you to disagree. Leave your thoughts in the comments below. Overall, while the anniversary event was definitely a huge success, and also the new rat pet upgrade seems to be pretty interesting, I really do feel like the lack of Rift update news or progress has really put a damper on things recently. I do hope that they come out with it pretty soon. It's been on alpha before, we already know what's going on with it, it looked pretty much completed. There is no real reason for this huge long delay, unless they have a reason for that, like for example maybe trying to fix it up to make sure it runs properly on day one. But if that is the case, they should come out and say it. I don't mind them saying, oh, we need to delay it a little bit. Maybe just say something. Having this situation where we're at 45% doesn't really feel great, especially since there's no real reason to actively donate, and I think that that's a pretty large mistake. At the end of the day though, my name is Derailious, thank you so much for watching this video till the end, and look to the future fellas, because I will see you then.